you're an older adult living in the city of Boston, today's show is all about you. Mayor Walsh and his administration have heard your concerns and interests. A thoughtful, age-friendly blueprint is well underway to address your particular needs. You may be familiar with our in-studio guest, Emily Shea. She was one of our first guests on Commissioner's Corner. Emily Shea has been serving as Commissioner on Affairs of the Elderly for the City of Boston since 2011. She was reappointed by Mayor Walsh in 2014. The Commission serves as Boston's Area Agency on Aging and Boston's Council on Aging. The Commission sets the city's direction for successful aging in Boston. Today, we will learn how the Commission plans to create an environment in which older adults can continue to lead healthy and productive lives in Boston. Thank you so much, Emily Shea,
for being with
us today. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
Yes, enjoying the summer.
This is your second time being here.
It is.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
Thank you. It
Great?
feels great. It feels great.
You
And I always love the opportunity to tell people about what we do.
Great. That's exactly my first question. For some of us that may not remember or not familiar with the organization, can you please tell us what the Commission on Affairs of the Elderly is all about? Like, what's its function?
Sure. So actually, I am so excited this year. We're celebrating our 50th birthday at the Commission. So we've been doing this for 50 years. And what we really try and do is make sure that older adults in the city can get connected to programs and resources, to things to do, and that the vast amount of knowledge and experience and skills that older adults have, that the city can benefit from those.
How did the program start, or how did the Commission on Affairs of the Elderly actually come about? Why is there a need of it?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, we have in Boston, we have over 105,000 people over 60 living in the city. And so it's important that there is an organization at a city level that's really focused on how we make life as high quality of life as possible for people over the age of 60. And so those are some of our beginnings. And since then, we've developed a lot of programs and services that we provide. So we provide a significant amount of direct services to older adults, things like transportation, events and programs throughout the city that people can get engaged in. Volunteer programs, we have over 400 people over 55 engaged with us and in program sites throughout the city, giving back to the city, using their skills and talents. We do so much more. We help constituents get connected to resources and information. We help them access benefits programs if they need those. And so many more things.
What have you been hearing on the streets from the older population, their needs, their concerns, some of their interests? Because I know that you've had some community partnerships where the older adults come together and voice their opinions about some of their concerns and interests.
Yeah, so for our age-friendly plan, we actually went out through the community. We heard from over 4,000 older adults. So we heard from a lot of folks about what they loved in the city, but also what some of their concerns and challenges are. And so things that they mention is they really want a city where they can stay safe and continue living in their neighborhoods for as long as they want to do that. You know, people are very connected to their neighborhoods in Boston, and they want to stay connected to the places and the people that they know and they love. So we heard a lot of people saying things like that. We heard that folks want to be able to get where they need to go when they need to go there, right? So transportation, really thinking about how we make sure that someone can get not just to a doctor's appointment, but also to the other places they want to go to stay engaged. We heard a lot from people about wanting things to do. So thinking that, Boston is a city that has so much to offer, but that sometimes they don't know where to look for information. They're not sure how to get connected to programs and to things going on. And so we're really thinking about how can we streamline some of that information and make sure that people have access to it.
What is an age-friendly city? How is Boston an age-friendly city? You have this new initiative. Tell us about that.
Sure. So this is a really exciting initiative. When Mayor Walsh came into office, he was a state rep before he was at the city. So he heard from a lot of older adults about things that they wanted, and we were hearing from a lot of older adults. So we put our heads together and really thought about, what can we do as a city, not just to provide the services that we provide, but also to think about how do we change things and make things better. And so what we did was we found this program. It's called Age-Friendly Cities, and we joined it through the World Health Organization. We joined the World Health Organization's network of age-friendly cities through its United States affiliate AARP. And what that means is that we spent time, as I said, going out into the community, hearing from people, hearing what they liked, hearing what they wanted to change in the city, hearing how they thought that they could live and age well in Boston and what they thought they needed to do that. Not just about services that will come in your home, but really thinking about housing and transportation, respect and social inclusion. How do you get information and process information? So communication, thinking about things like social participation and being a part of community. So we talked about all of those things. We then used a community process to put together a 75-step action plan that we're doing in the next, in 3 years of time. So we just completed our first year of implementation, and we have 2 more to go. And
so it's a 3-year plan.
It's a 3-year plan.
Okay.
It's a 3-year plan, and we're doing a lot of exciting things in it.
What's new that's happening that we can expect?
Sure. So I'll tell you a few things that we did in our year 1 of the plan. We heard from older adults that they don't always feel that their voices are listened to by policymakers. And so we worked with them to create something called a civic academy. So we took older adults applied to be a part of this civic academy, and they spent 20 hours with us, really learning about how to navigate and talk to policymakers at both a city, a state, and a federal level, learning specific advocacy skills. They practiced things like elevator speeches and learned about issues impacting older adults. And we heard a lot of people say, I've had a lot to say, but I haven't always had the skills and the knowledge that I need to be able to say them to the right people to make the change. And so this program really helped with that.
Great. What are the issues that concern elders, or that you've come across that are concerning to elders?
Sure. So I'll talk about a couple of things that we heard in our age-friendly work that also then turned into kind of work on an action item, right? So one thing we heard is that people want to be able to walk throughout the city. They want to be able to access our local businesses. They want to be able to take a walk with their grandchildren, but they don't always know where to find a public restroom along the way.
Okay.
And so we actually mapped all of the city's public restrooms.
This is something that they mentioned about the restrooms?
Yeah, because it's you got to be able to find a public restroom, right?
Yes.
And sometimes, especially if you're taking something like a water pill, that might prevent somebody for going out into the neighborhood for a long time. But public restrooms are great for everybody, right? The kids need them. Everyone needs to find one throughout the city. So we map them all. And you can go on the city website. You can tell them what neighborhood you're in, what your address is, if you need a handicap stall, if you need you know, if you need, you know, what type of bathroom you need, and then it will pop up the location so that you can access that. We also heard from older adults that sometimes they felt like businesses weren't really paying attention to them or catering to them.
In what way?
So things like maybe if they went into a restaurant, it was hard to read the menu, the lighting was very dim, or you know, the aisle, there was nowhere to sit in a store if you needed to rest for a few minutes, or the aisles were too tight, narrow to get down with a walker.
Okay.
And so we started a program called Age and Dementia Friendly Businesses, which we just launched in partnership with West Roxbury Main Streets. So we have 10 businesses there that are certified and that have made some significant changes in order to be able to have older adults shop in their stores and feel comfortable in their stores.
And what kind of changes are those?
Sure, so they've done things like increase menu size, increase lighting. They have all of the businesses, kind of the cornerstone of this is all of the businesses taking a training in older adults and, communication skills and how to recognize dementia and the signs of dementia. So they've all been through a training, and then they've done a set of 7 other things that they've chosen that makes them more accessible to older adults.
How can the city ensure that the older generation is included?
Yeah, I mean, you raise a really good point, because it is easy to get more isolated the older you get. And now some of the studies are showing that the health impact of social isolation is similar to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So we really want to make sure that people stay connected and engaged in community. We're doing a few things in order to do that. So one, we are mapping all of the social engagement opportunities for older adults in Boston. So we've talked to lots of different partner organizations who are running different programs. We've put together a database, and with the help of our research partner, UMass Boston Gerontology Institute, we will be mapping all of those, and then we'll be looking at the gaps and how we can fill some of those gaps so that in every neighborhood of the city there's opportunities for people to find something that they enjoy doing that they can get engaged in. We also know that some people it's harder to get out of their homes. And so
yeah, that's a big issue.
That's a big issue. So we started this past year as part of our plan, building some relationships with faith-based organizations to try to use their newsletters to get information out to older adults about different programs and services that they can offer. And in this next year, we're going to continue to build on that relationship, because many older adults are connected to faith-based organizations.
Right.
And so we want to work with them to make sure that the people that, you know, used to come every week, that maybe are a little more isolated now, that we're connecting to those people and making sure that they're not alone.
You also have like skills training, employment may be a barrier or an issue.
Sure. So that is something that we heard when we went out to talk to people, that we heard that people felt like it was hard to find employment, but also not only that, but they didn't know where to get help to find employment. They didn't know how to access training programs, how to build their skills for a new job. And so one of the things that we did was we created an employment guide. So we went and we looked at all the different resources for older adults in the city in terms of employment. So, and we mapped that all out in an employment guide. It's on our website, and we also have it available if people need it in printed copies. And it maps out where you can get assistance, where you can get workplace training, where you can get a GED if you need that, or where you can improve your English, programs like that. And then all different places that you can access that can help you with job search and different skills trainings.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I mean that's been great, and now we're looking at what else can we do in that employment realm to make sure that older adults have access to employment if they need that.
Great. Tell us something that we would be surprised about.
Sure. Well, you know, I think that one thing that I hear from our older residents that they're surprised about is actually a service we've had at the Commission for a long time, but I think it's so great that people don't recognize that it exists, right? So we actually have a program called the Senior Shuttle, where we provide over 40,000 free medical rides to seniors in Boston.
40,000?
40,000.
Wow.
So people who live in Boston, you have to live in Boston, you need to be over the age of 60.
Okay.
But this is a free ride to your doctor and back. So you don't need to pay for a taxi, you don't need to, have your daughter take a day off of work.
Is it pretty simple to
It's pretty simple.
request that?
You just call us at the shuttle. You can actually call 311 is the number to access any city services, right? So you can just call 311, get connected to the Senior Shuttle, and we'll work with you around scheduling a ride to your doctor's appointment.
That's big. It's
big because it's free, so people don't realize that the mayor and the city sponsor this for them.
Yeah, not only that, it may be challenging for some older people to navigate the city.
Exactly,
So.
and the other really nice thing about the ride is if you have a caregiver that needs to come with you,
You can do that.
you can take them along on the ride. You just need to let us know so we make
Right.
sure that there's a ride with them. And as part of our age-friendly plan, we've also been looking at making our shuttles more accessible. So almost our whole fleet now is wheelchair accessible.
Oh, wow.
And then also we're looking at how do we make it an even better program. So we're investing in technology so that we can make it even better for both the riders and the drivers.
So how can they get involved? How can the older generation get involved with the commission?
Sure. So one of the great ways to get involved is to become a volunteer. So we have so many volunteer opportunities that we can connect people to, and then if people if they're over 55 and they have some free time, they can come in, they can talk to us. We'll talk to them about what their interests are, and we'll connect them either to one of our volunteer opportunities or to something else in the community that really meets their interests and skill set. So that's exciting because we know that so many people out there really want to give back their time and their skills and their knowledge. And so
you actually mentioned civic engagement. Can we go back to that and talk a little bit about that and how they, participate and learn skills in that way?
Sure.
Meeting with city leaders?
Yes. So our Civic Academy, so we ran that once as a pilot. We're working with UMass Boston now to really look at that model and figure out how we can make it replicable, and talking to the participants that participated and thinking about what do we need to do even better next time. And then we'll be rolling that out again in the fall. So that's really exciting. That will be we'll have another class that will happen again over this next year. So that's exciting, and we'll continue holding classes because I think that that's something people have expressed interest in. There's lots of other opportunities to get involved, so people should just connect with us and we'll let them know.
And how are they feeling about the programs that you have? What are they voicing once they're in and once they've participated?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we get very positive response about our programs, but I think that one of the things that we're very cognizant of is listening to people too when they have suggestions and advice for us, right? We're here to serve the people. I always say, I work for the mayor and for the city of Boston, but I actually have 105,000 bosses out there. And so we're really open to feedback from people as well. But you know, it's funny with feedback, you're saying what are the ways people can get involved? Well, they can get involved in our events. We have a lot of events every year, and people can call our office to find out more information. But we have one coming up that people really enjoy every year, and I hope folks will join us for that. On October 18th, we'll be hosting the Mayor's Walk, and it's going to be right in Joe Moakley Park in South Boston.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a fun day. We've got music, we've got food. We'll be doing a 1 mile walk together, and it's just a day to be outside. Good. It'll be fun. We have different tables so people can find out different resources in the area, and it's a day to all come together and have a good time.
Wow, is that an all-day event or half the day?
It runs from about 10:30 until 2 o'clock.
Okay, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we have an application so people can sign up to come. So we make sure we have enough food for folks. Mm-hmm. They can call us, call 311 and ask for the Elderly Commission. And they also, in our seniority magazine, which is another way people can get involved, right? We put out a monthly magazine. So folks can pick up a copy of that at 300 locations across the city. Libraries, community centers, all over the city. But we'll have an application for the Mayor's Walk right in the next issue of Seniority Magazine as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Commissioner Shea, thank you so much
for
coming back, actually, not just being here, but coming back and joining us and relaying all this information. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity, and hope folks choose to get involved with us.
Definitely. We'll give some more information too, okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. If you are interested in learning more about the Boston Commission on Affairs of the Elderly and how you can participate, please visit www.boston.gov/elderly. You can also review the Commission's age-friendly work at www.boston.gov/age-friendly, or you can call 617-635-4366. As always, thank you for watching Commissioner's Corner. I'm Najya Mawasi.